This is the Segovia Show.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings, all. Welcome to the Segovia Show. I haven't done a tech stream in quite a bit, and I need to put the ticker down here. Let me see. Where are my tickers? I want to take a moment and welcome BitChute to the live streaming party, because it's the first time I get to stream to BitChute. I got approved, so awesome. I'm going to talk about tech censorship on today's program, and one of the things I tell people to do is, if you want to become uncancelable, put your show on as many places as possible, because it really is frustrating that we complain about YouTube. We know how these rules work. We've seen them do this time and again, and all the right does is just complain about them. And it's like, well, there's other places you can put your show on too. So yeah, if you're going to put all your eggs in one basket, then that's on you. Lately, I've seen some individuals actually spread out their show a lot more, which good on them. And I'm sorry, the camera's shaking. I'm adjusting another swivel here that has my laptop on it, because that's where I have my notes. But anyway, so yeah, I encourage people to get on as many shows and platforms, as platforms as possible where they can broadcast their show. And as proof, I have been picked up by BitChute. So for the about 40 something followers I have over on BitChute, I will now be streaming live to you. Oh, way to go. I tried doing the same thing with Odyssey, Telegram, and what's that other one? Oh my goodness, there was one more. Yeah, but it just never really materialized, and it was very difficult to have to schedule and prepare a live stream on every single show. So it is exhausting, and you just gotta do what you can and plan for it. So the easier live streaming gets with more integrations out there, Rumble, on Streamyard, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, X. I'm also on DLive and Kick. See, Kick was a place I was streaming to, and then all of a sudden they changed their, I guess it's where you transmit. It's something with the stream keys and all that, and now it just doesn't work. So I'm like, oh my goodness! I tried getting support to fix it, and it just didn't. So I'm like, all right, fine. So for the meanwhile, I'm not streaming to Kick. So sorry. But as for everyone else, welcome to the program. My show has been growing by leaps and bounds on X, and I couldn't be happier about that. I'm not at creator status yet, but I'm getting closer. So if you have an X account and you're not following me there yet at _ Segovia, by all means do help me get to creator status there. For those of you on YouTube that have been subscribed there, I'm getting very close to 3,000. That's gonna be about 700 plus subscribers that I've gotten since the spring, which is awesome, because that's 700 more than the past 2 or 3 years. For whatever reason, that's been happening and being stagnant on YouTube. So something's been happening in the tech space. Not all bad things on YouTube. There's some good things, and I'll get into that here in a moment. I did have a couple of announcements though. This one I didn't have at the ready, so I've been trying to pull it up. I got like multiple screens here, and I'm a little bummed I just didn't get this one on time. But for those of you in California, you know about it's fire season, and it's getting hot, and it's going to be hotter by now. And one of the things that has occurred, for those of you that are not familiar, there's something called the Park Fire in North California. It is not only the biggest fire of the year so far, and there's just no way to stop that thing as of now, but it's going to be on its way to become one of the, if not the biggest fire, at least one of the top 3 biggest fires in California history, maybe even the country. So it's pretty wild what's going on up there. This one, as tends to be the case, is a case of arson. There was an arsonist. He set fire to a vehicle and dropped it down a ravine. That's what kicked off the fire. He was arraigned on Monday. So we'll see where all this lands. But it's just the people that have been affected by this, it sucks. We had something called Proposition 19 that was sold to Californians as a way to supposedly help people move their tax burden when they lose their house, when they get the insurance payment, so they can be able to move to another home. The reason that's key, for those of you not familiar, I'm in real estate, so this is important for you to know. When you own a home, and you're paying a tax bill, and normally it's, if you had that home for a long time, that tax bill is considerably lower than a property you buy today, because the property is more expensive, therefore the tax rate on that, even though it's the same, is a bigger chunk of your money. So one of the things that is allowed, or at least was before it went away, allowable for Californians was, if you bought a house and you kind of traded it for another, you purchased it, but almost for like value, depending on which counties applied, you were able to basically take that tax, I don't want to say rate, but the tax amount was pretty much going to be the same when you carried over. We lost that. Because supposedly by Proposition 19 was going to allow individuals in the state of California, allow them throughout the state, not just certain counties, but not everywhere, you can move your tax liability, your tax thing, to any county you want. So if it's LA to Orange County to somewhere up in the Bay Area or even further up, that you will be able to move it among 3 times in your lifetime. Because that would supposedly encourage senior citizens that have been living in their properties for decades, that have a huge house they don't need anymore because the kids have grown up and moved out and started families of their own, that they can then be able to help deal with the housing supply shortage by being able to offload that and move to a smaller home. But because the house was bought so long ago, there's some houses, literally working on a house right now, in the repairing side, that was purchased in 1967 for less than $20,000 and fixed up. That house today, because it has to be sold, it's gonna sell for anywhere from $750,000 to $800,000. So that's what I mean. If you bought a house way back then, you don't want to pay a tax bill on a property now, right? So this Proposition 19 was supposed to allow anywhere in the state for you to move around, and up to 3 times in the rest of your lifespan, to be able to take that tax bill along with you with some upward adjustment. That's how it was sold as. Obviously it wasn't, but in it too was supposed to be this new bureaucracy for wildfire prevention. And people ate this up. I'm like, dude, for real? It was supposed to help wildfire victims. It hasn't helped a bit. And someone with a comment somewhere where I shared this, and I need to share this because, why am I bringing this up? Because for those of you that are familiar with my program, I tout a lot Ranger Candy Coffee Company, and you can use promo code Segovia to save on shipping at checkout. But the reason I'm highlighting them is because, unfortunately, Larry over at Ranger Candy, his in-laws live in California, and they just so happen to live in the very county this fire burns through. One of the 67 houses that was reported destroyed was his in-laws' home. And for those of you that are able to, that are willing to, even at the least just say a prayer for them, there's a Give, Send, Go. I'm going to leave a link to this Give, Send, Go as soon as I'm done with the stream. But for now, you can go to my social medias, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on X, or any of the other ones. It could be Gab, Parlor, what are some of the other ones? My goodness, I can't think of them. But I posted this across everything, even mine's. It will be there just to get the word out for Give, Send, Go. And I'm very grateful to those that have responded and have donated. And even if you can't right now because things are hard, we totally understand that. Prayers help. So just letting you know that you never know who you might know that is affected, but even a kind word goes a long way. So I just wanted to share that with you right there. And yeah, so Proposition 19 sucked, and we're trying to get it repealed. And Gavin Newsom is doing his darndest to make sure that doesn't happen, because the demon will have his way. All right, and now look, I'm already getting some comments, and this one's coming in from YouTube. Daniel Bai says, majority of the fires in California are arson. Sad, really? Absolutely. I have my most popular real estate series is Local Broker Reacts. So for those of you that are not aware, this show was primarily about me selling you my real estate services. So a lot of my early episodes do contain a lot of real estate 101 stuff that still holds true today. And every beginning of the year, I'm always playing the same episode over and over again because nothing's changed, whether it's an up economy or down economy. When you're ready, able, and willing, that's your time to buy. Because a lot of people wait, I'm going to wait until it peters off and it bottoms out, then I'll strike. It's like, well, when is it going to bottom out for you? California is its own real estate industry, so it doesn't work that way when you look at the numbers from the rest of the country. And despite us having a migration crisis here, we have more people leaving the state than have been coming in, we still don't have enough housing. At least that's what they say. I'll address that in some other episode. But anyway, I needed to mention that. And why I bring this up? One of my episodes I was reacting to when Daily Wire announced they were leaving Los Angeles for Nashville, Tennessee. And in that one, I was highlighting the fires because that year was just so many different blazes, a lot of destruction of personal and private property. And my audio went out. Really? Someone's saying on YouTube that my audio went out. All right, let me check. I didn't touch anything. Oh, what's going on with Rumble? Checking the feed over on Rumble. Okay, hold on. Okay, so apparently it is working. So I didn't touch anything. So John, I hope it continues on. If you're still actively in the chat, let me know. But it looks like Rumble is up. I didn't even get to check X, but let me see if I can check X real quick. I'm gonna mute my microphone, so my audio will go out for this one. Let me just pull this up. That's the thing about doing lives. You never know. You never know when it's gonna work out. But it helps to adjust on the fly. Okay, so I'm up on X. So it looks like YouTube is YouTube. Anybody in the chat still on YouTube? I know John, you were there on YouTube. So I could pull up YouTube real quick too. And I'm back. It looks like the audio is working, so sorry about that, folks. But it looks like I'm still going, but if anything happens, let me know. I'm not touching anything. So this is hopefully Streamyard streaming to, right now I'm streaming to YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and BitChute. So hopefully this thing is going through just fine. And the ticker is reading all weird because it says I have some viewers here, but according to Rumble, I have a different amount there. Okay, but anyway, so I was doing a live, I was doing Local Broker Reacts episode to the Daily Wire leaving, and I was giving commentary because what I normally do when I react to some of this news. And when I was covering it, I was highlighting with facts the fires that have raged California that year. And that year, at least 80 to 90% of the fires were arson. And because I said that, people were reporting my videos saying that I was spreading misinformation. Like, huh? No, because it's climate change. Look, I can't help you. If a gender reveal party that sets fire to something is climate change, fine. I'll yield to you that argument. But my goodness. Can't help some people. But anyway, just let you know that yes, this big fire, the park fire that burned down my buddy's in-laws house, their home of almost 40 years. Everything just up and gone, just like that. No chance to really take anything out of there. It's gone. So for those of you just tuning in, I was sharing this story with the audience to kick things off. I posted this Gifts and Go. Ranger Candy Coffee Company is my first affiliate, not a sponsor to my program. But any purchase that you make and you use the promo code Segovia at checkout, I'm a brand ambassador for the company. That's why they're up here on my shelving. But they were the first ones to really take me on, and they've been my partner ever since. We've done limited roasts under my name for the past couple of years. Really awesome, really good roast too. But this happens. His in-laws live upstate in California, even though he lives in Florida. And yeah, it's just it's overall just sad events. But if you can, Gifts and Go, if at the very least a prayer, that helps. I'll be leaving links to that. You know what? You won't be able to see this, those of you on Rumble. But if you can, I'm gonna put this in the comments for everyone else. Let me see if this thing can let me. Come on. Freaking A. Every time I try to do something here, this thing always blocks me. All right, that should be it. Okay, there's the Give Send Go for those that can see it. Most likely those on YouTube will be able to see it. It went to Twitch and to YouTube. Okay, cool. All right. So today I'm going to be covering a couple of things, but I also wanted to highlight, because I did mention that there's some censorship going on. So I will be cutting the feed to YouTube at some point. I'm going to be talking about the big tech censorship, which includes my channel. I have been affected in these past 2 weeks. I will talk about that. And because it's about YouTube, odds are it's not going to be on YouTube. So just letting you know that, as I'm going to give you the heads up when I'm going to cut the feed, you can jump over to X or preferably Rumble, and that's where you can continue on and see the rest of the feed. But for the most part, the rest of the stuff is going to be more tech heavy, including what a lot of you are probably tuning in for, which is the Unplugged phone, giving you my thoughts as to what my experience has been. Nice, drop it on camera. The Pixel Fold6, I'm going to talk about the Pixel, but it's the Fold6, the Galaxy Fold6 from Samsung, and give you my thoughts on that. Let me see, but first I gotta talk to you about this one. Let me share this tab with you guys. This is why I've been spending a lot of time on X, and it definitely it's been worthwhile. So for those of you that follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, would know that I did post there. I do post on my episodes there. Sometimes I stream my lives over, or I broadcast my episodes. This was not one of them because I knew it was going to be different. So my Unplugged interview, or my most recent one, where I had the CTO, Iran Karpin, and the COO, Leon Stein. It's Leon Stein. I had him on the show, and I knew it was going to be attracting the most attention over on X. Those of you on YouTube, you guys been tuning in. Those of you on Rumble, you've been tuning in. Fantastic. But I knew it was going to just blow up on me on X, and so it did. And for those of you that don't really know how to read this, it's okay. But over here, that's another 30,000 hits to my my episode just in the past, I would say, 5 days. This thing hit 100,000. That was by Saturday evening to Sunday morning Pacific time. Now, how many actually tuned in was at least a quarter, which is huge, because for those of us that either pay to get these things in front of your feeds, hopefully, or try to get the algorithm to feed you our episodes, how that goes about. That's why I stopped paying Facebook. I stopped paying Instagram way back when, because it wasn't working. They weren't promoting my episodes. Same thing with you, YouTube. And I don't do anything for X. That was going to be organic. I knew that for sure, and I posted it. Normally, an episode of mine can reach like 50,000 people, but maybe like only 100 will probably check it. Not the case with X, because I knew that there were people arguing, discussing this, because they were doing that on the comments everywhere the Unplugged phone was mentioned, and because I had the world exclusive to talk to Iran Karpin and Liron, I knew it was going to be the biggest draw. So X, by and large, not only has one episode just blew out of the water all the views I got on Rumble and YouTube combined this year to date in one episode, but the interview itself is the biggest interview I have ever done in terms of viewership and, of course, audience reached. So I appreciate every single one of you, whether you liked it or hated it. I appreciated all of you for tuning in, because you made this possible. This is the year my show's been taken seriously. That doesn't mean I haven't had big names before, but this was the year that people took notice and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we should be on his program. And that's what Eric Prince did. That's the only reason I ended up getting connected to Unplugged, because they saw my video where I was giving constructive criticism because I didn't know what it was yet. And that's how I was able to land interviews with the CEO, eventually the COO, CTO, of course, get the phone in my hand and be able to tell you all about it, for which very many of you have subscribed to my show. Now, another big account did repost this very interview, and that was Graphene OS, because I knew they were going to get wind of this, because they were in a sparring match with Unplugged apparently. So they ended up posting my review to their Twitter feed, and they were responding in real time as they were watching it, because I knew they were watching it. And you can see the threads. You can go to Graphene OS on X, not Blue Sky. They're not posting it there, but they posted it on X. And they shared my video, and that's how I was able to get more people to view this thing, and that's why it's been picking up a lot more steam since. And people were saying that I should have Graphene OS on the program because of this controversy that's happening, that Graphene OS and Unplugged have been going at it for the past month, it seems. I did cover a little bit of the history of how this began in the previous stream. I'll probably leave a link to that because I don't want to retread over some territory, but I did post out there and I said, hey, they're more than welcome on my podcast. So I said, Graphene OS, if a spokesperson is able and willing to discuss this and the privacy OS space as a whole, my DMs are open, to which they have yet to respond to that invitation. So I have reached out, and so far nothing, but they at the very least did share my video. So just giving you a quick rundown of what it's been like, at least in the past week, because that's why there's been many more of you chiming into the comments on YouTube, because there's those of you that are kind of repeating what Graphene OS was saying in their responses to Unplugged about the device. And I'm like, well, that's not exactly true, because that's not what the device is made out of. So just to clear the air, yes, the chipset is from Taiwan, but this device is built in Indonesia, is not from China. And was speaking to the executives over at Unplugged, they tried their darndest to not source anything from China. Of course, they had to source something, but they tried to not source as many parts, not from China, but from everywhere else that's not China, because of that compromise. But a lot of people are stuck on this is bottom shelf stuff, Chinese manufactured gobbledygook stuff. And when I saw those expressions, I'm like, well, that's what Graphene OS was accusing Unplugged of. And well, that's why I invited Graphene OS. Like, hey, look, I know this thing's going back and forth. You guys are invited on the show because I'd like to talk about this. But not just that, the privacy OS space as a whole, because you should see what happened afterwards in the comments with other people. Graphene was not responding to any of my posts, but they were responding to other smaller accounts about CalyxOS. So I found that very entertaining, because I'm like, that's what I wanted to talk to you about and get you on the record. But technically, it is on the record. It's on the X threads. You guys can go check it out. You can find it on Graphene OS, and to some extent, even me thanking them over on my profile. So _Andres Segovia. Go check that out. All right, let me change my banner here to this one. For those of you that are property owners and you're in Southern California, you might want to be interested to go to aoausa.com. There's an event happening in about 2 or 3 weeks. Free event, 1-day landlord conference and trade show. You don't want to miss it, just to find out just how many more bills are going to pass or attack your property rights, just how much is happening in Sacramento to take your property rights away while you're being distracted by this dog and pony show that is Washington, D.C., this 2-horse race between the left and the right, just trying to distract you from the things that matter, because no candidate is coming to save you at the national level. Local elections matter, and I will talk about Trump later on in the show, just probably not on YouTube, so just FYI, jump over to X or on Rumble if you want to continue. Okay, so I'm going to get into talking about the Fold6 impressions. So that means this. All right, you guys haven't seen it. I did do an unboxing impressions, and I did compare the size of this thing to the Surface Duo, the first gen from Microsoft, and also to the Pixel Fold, their first gen, the one they end up trading for, because I'm like, this thing is over $2,000. That's insane, man. And I ended up, this case alone is $100. I didn't pay those prices for this, okay? No, Samsung didn't supply anything for me. They don't. That's why I have to shell it out from my pocket. I never took advantage of any of the Amazon stuff for my tech channels. Like, oh, the 30-day return window. So I'll just get it, review it, and return it. And then I just see the ad revenue come in. None of that's ever happened. I've been demonetized on YouTube. 2, I just don't believe in that crap. I knew there was other content creators that did that. I was not one of them. I called them out. I've been accused of that before, and I said, hell no, I didn't do that. So don't. Anyway, I did get the Pixel. Oh my goodness, not the Pixel. The Fold6. But it's not the first time I had one. I did have the 3. I did an unboxing of that, but I didn't end up keeping it on the long term. I passed it on to my family member. But this time, I did try this out before buying, and I must say, the form factor is much better. And I was concerned about the front screen because I'm like, well, am I really going to be able to use it? Yes, I am able to use this screen compared to others. And that's saying something, because coming from an S24 Ultra, one of the biggest phones in the market, to this, I actually found myself having less typos on this than on the S24 Ultra. So I didn't have any like this, I guess, having to redo my muscle memory when it came to typing. It actually was as skinny as one of these Blackberries that are behind me. So I'm like, oh, look, it was kind of like typing like that. But of course, when you open it, now you have a wider canvas and you can work with a lot more here. And I thought that was for sure going to be a little more cumbersome, but the Samsung keyboard was better, at least for me, than the Google keyboard, the Gboard, that I use on the Pixel Fold, because every time I try to use them, I used Microsoft Swift key, so that's the one on the Surface Duo, but because the Surface Duo and it's still buggy, the type would, oh my goodness, it would just be a headache. So just you know that so far this has been a much better experience. Is it worth $2,000+? Hell no, it's not. Especially when you got to get all this stuff to protect the phone that may or may not protect the phone. I do use the stylus. I've always said if I could get a stylus for every device that I have, I will. So the only one that doesn't is the iPhone. I don't know why the Apple Pencil doesn't work on that. It should, but anyway, it doesn't. I use that on the daily. This helped with my content creation. And I am married to Samsung. I did pre-order the Galaxy Ring. So that's expected to arrive sometime this month, maybe before my birthday. So if it does, stay tuned, because that one I will keep. Now, I must say this though. If you are interested in the Galaxy Ring, as I understand it, it only works on Samsung devices. And secondly, it's meant to go on your index finger, not your ring finger. So when I went to Best Buy to try the sizing kit, I put it on my ring finger. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not relying on the vitals of that thing to be as accurate, because Samsung Health stuff from peripherals have not been the best. So I'm like, but for everything else that I'm intending to use it for, sure. Because I'm not going to use a freaking ring when I'm lifting weights. That's so stupid. I take off my ring. That's why I still forget to put my wedding band back on. And that's why sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be on video without a wedding band, like I am right now. So like, but hopefully that perception will change as soon as they get the Galaxy Ring on this finger. But Samsung, I do. So I ordered the ring. So we'll see. Is it worth $300 though? Oh, only time we'll find out. But so far, I did trade the Pixel Fold for this. And yesterday I got the confirmation that yes, the trade-in did go in. So I'm all in on this device, and so far I gotta tell you, I have enjoyed using it. I haven't had the issues with it. There are some quality issues that some people have reported, and I just saw Jerry Rig Everything's Zach's latest episode on the durability of this device. He hasn't had that much concerns about it, but he did notice that when he threw the dust into the hinge, he definitely heard more, I guess, more intrusion of dust, despite the fact that this is supposed to have a better dust rating, because it actually has a dust rating, something we never gotten on the Samsung Galaxy Fold lineup at all. But his concern was that he hears that it's probably getting into more places than it did with the Fold 5. But more alarming was as soon as in this corner when he started peeling things off, and then it caught fire. Like, I better be careful not puncturing that corner then with the S Pen or my fingernail. So it's like, dude, let's not go back to this whole a battery conundrum that was with the Galaxy Note 7 back. Oh my goodness, I missed that phone. But yeah, so there's stuff that I am aware of. But aside from that, Michael Fisher also dropped his video reviewing it was the Buds, and I think he was reviewing this phone. I don't know if it was the Flip. It might have been the Fold. I would listen to the audio version. So apparently there are some quality control issues with the earbuds, the Pro 3. I don't know about this. It's the first time I heard about it. But apparently the silicone tips are cracking. So you cannot get the silver ones. You can only get the straight up AirPods ripoff that Samsung's selling, that they say Apple was not influencing them in any way. But when you have that as one of the quality concerns, and then I see what may or may not be an issue with the possibility of the phone catching fire over down at this corner, the bottom left, if you're looking straight at it. And I think there was some the watches. There was a concern about the Galaxy Ultra watch. some quality control issues. So I had this question because Samsung moved their schedule up. Did they rush things? Did they go too fast? Are they trying to just do little iterations of this and just launch them faster before Apple takes, everything by storm? Because even Google is moving some of their stuff up. And I'm going to react to the Fold here in a moment. But I don't know. How many of you picked up one of the latest Galaxy offerings from Samsung and you run into some issues? I didn't experience any issues whatsoever in my S24 Ultra. But I got to tell you, my S22 Ultra, when I got it, that thing had Bluetooth issues forever, and it did also have camera issues, and that was a hardware problem, not a software problem. I learned to live with it. And I didn't get the extended warranty on it, and I didn't really notice it was a problem with the device as a lemon until it was a little too late for me to act on it. But just letting you know that I'm keeping an eye on those things, and I will report back. And Michael Fisher also said he would too. He and I communicate on Threads, so I'm going to be picking his brain about his experience, because so far, the most alarming thing was a jerry rig everything video. If you haven't seen that, just like that puncture and the phone at the corner caught on fire, well, I returned my Pixel Fold and got credit for it, so I don't know what I'm going to do here now. But speaking of the Pixel Fold, let's talk about it then. This is the one. I don't know what you guys think of it, because it's some people are like Jaime Rivera from Pocket Now was making a lot of references to this thing looking like what is it? The OnePlus Fold? Is that what it's called? Okay, is bigger. Is that the August one? No, this is the right one. Yeah, I have 2 pages for the Pixel Fold. So let me get to the picture. All right, so here's one of the main ones. Man, that camera hump looks ugly. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, but the ratio of this is supposed to be a lot better. The front, I had no issues with the width of the Pixel Fold. It was just a little too short for my liking. Now it's taller. It's supposed to be better. What are all these ads, 9 to 5? My goodness. But anyway, they moved the center camera, it looks like, right here to the corner. And let me see. There's a bigger picture of this. Let me find it. All right, so here we go. All right, let me see. I can make this bigger. I'm going to pause this real quick. It's a slideshow. But all these ads, man. All right, so do they have a different color? Because you can't really see the bezels in this color. This is from OnLeaks, and seriously, that camera bump looks ugly, but hopefully it is better, because one of the things is, why would you spend over $2,000 on a folding phone if you're going to get subpar cameras compared to their flagship counterparts? S24 Ultra, for example, which has way better cameras. What's that? Okay. And look at this right here. That's an eyesore to me. If they would have squared this off, it would look better. And that's one of the advantages of this squared off design that Samsung did, because they got rid of those ugly looking bezels. But some people are saying that this is so far looking better than the Fold6 from Samsung. I don't know. This thing looks, at least the dimensions wise, I think this would be a better experience. But design wise, and I expect this to be more expensive than the Pixel Fold. That was already an expensive device. I'm not liking what I'm seeing, man. And look at all this. There's bezels within bezels. That's what I really don't like about it. You want a tritone finish for your front-facing screen? It looks ugly. And inside, it is more symmetrical. I'll give it that. I do like that. I don't mind that the screen doesn't go all the way to the edges, because you get accidental touches. Anybody that's ever used a curved display knows exactly what I mean. The palm rejection didn't always work from Samsung on those curved displays. So that's why I like that the S24 Ultra was squared off. But hey, man, no me gusta. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. And this is, let me get to the other page. Dude, seriously, 9 to 5? You're going to do this to me here too? All right, so this is the other one. This is the latest one. They dropped this article today, 9 to 5 Google. Just that, dude, look at all these pop-ups. Freaking hey. Calm down. The display is supposed to be 2700 nits. That's way better than the Pixel Fold's 1450. Holy smokes, man. That's like a retina searing brightness. That's supposed to be maybe 100 nits brighter than the Samsung, I think. Dude. what's up with this with this though? It's being labeled, so it's going to be called the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold. So it's going to be the Pixel 9, then the Pixel 9 Pro, then the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Well, we'll see. Let's see, what else did they got? Seriously, these pops. I'm going to give up on this here in a moment. What are they showing? Are they comparing these two? Is this the? This might be the comparison, huh? I don't know if this is the. I can't really tell. This looks fatter and wider, so I wonder if this is the Pixel Fold, and this is the left is what the Pixel 9 Pro Fold would look like. Because if it is, okay then. But anybody interested can go to 9 to 5 Google. They updated it with everything in the latest. The face unlock's supposed to work inside and out. Of course, what's more interesting is to see what the software implementation that Google's going to introduce. That's what they always do and show off with their flagship Pixel devices. That's what we really care about. Either computational photography, or what are they doing with the AI, or how they're going to enhance the benefits of using a wider screen, or in this case a folding display, and how that would work out. Because that's what we wanted to see. That's what Android 12L was supposed to be. So we'll see what this turns out being, because eventually it will go down the pipe and affect everybody else that's using foldables, whether you're using OnePlus, or even some of the flip stuff, I'm sure. But Samsung's already doing their thing on top of this, so it'll be interesting to see what else they can improve upon, at least with Google interpretation of the improvements that they're doing. It is nice that they're getting rid of some of the chunky bezels of the Fold, but again, I really don't like the design of the Fold 2 that they're calling the 9 Pro Fold. Man, but I gotta give credit to where credit's due. At least Google isn't keeping the same design from the previous year. At least they're being bold with that. So I guess that's one good thing you could take from that, because Google is taking those risks. It'll be interesting to see what they're going to put under the hood, though. Better Censorship, more RAM and all that, because AI does take a lot of it. So we'll see how far that one goes. Okay. Alrighty. So I think I pretty much finished sharing a lot of the tech front stuff. I showed you the stuff about what I call the Pixel Fold 2 or the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. For those of you that missed it, I have been testing and using as my business daily driver, because I am all in on Samsung, the Fold 6, the Galaxy Fold 6, and I'm using 3 different cases. This is the one that comes with the S Pen. It is very thin. I am happy about that, because I was concerned about how chunky this used to be, and now this is considerably thinner. There's a clear case for this that you can see the backing of it, which is nice, because what's the point of buying one of the exclusive colors online if I can't show you that online exclusive color? So let me get to showing this off. Here we go. So I have the white one. I've always wanted the white one. I wish I had the S24 Ultra in white. This is some reinforced aluminum. It's not titanium. Unfortunately, for the price, I would have preferred titanium, but I must say I do prefer the color of this together and how it goes with the white. So I guess that's one plus to take from that. The S Pen experience, it's the S Pen experience. So that's good. It's just that it's not inside its own silo within the phone. I use this during the week. On weekends, I trade either with the slippery clear case, which is even thinner than this. It provides zero protection, but at least it comes with a wrap around the hand, kind of like those rings so you can hold the phone. It does make it easier to hold when you have it folded out, so that's good. And also I have a leather case. But do these cases really need to cost $70 to $100 when these things are really, really flimsy? I don't know. I don't think so. But so far, I've been enjoying the experience. The cameras, while I do like them, they're not the S24 Ultras, and I knew that going in. So it doesn't surprise me. All right, so just to recap, because I'm about to sign off for those of you on YouTube and possibly Twitch, because what I'm about to share with you with respects to big tech censorship and rigging is not YouTube safe, because they have been doing that to some of my videos, particularly my last interview. Not cool, but as expected. So I might sound off on them. Actually, I am going to sound off on them, so I got to sign out for YouTube. So you can go over to X, or you can go over to Rumble, which I prefer, so you can then comment, and I can see your comments and highlight them here, and I'll be talking to you through there. And let me make sure I have that pulled up for my Rumble fans too, because Streamyard cannot respond to Rumble comments, unfortunately, but I can do that through the app. So I'm pulling that up to make sure I have that at the ready for those of you that want to participate within the chat. So pulling that up. Yep. ready to go for those of you that are interested. But quick recap. So thank you for making my interview with the CTO and the COO of Unplugged the #1 interview I've ever done in the history of the show. That on X alone, holy smokes, man! It's right now, it's trending. If it keeps this up, it'll be my biggest video ever, and I can't monetize it. That would have been nice. I was like, I don't have creator status yet over on X. So for those of you that have socials and you're on X, by all means give me a follow. If you can put up with some opinions that you might not agree with, then that's the place to go to. But overall, I do appreciate, thank you very much. I do appreciate all those of you that have been follow me across the socials. Instagram is a unique audience. It's kind of its own little bubble. It feels, I'm more engaged in the stories than I am on the posts. But lately, because I had to break through the censorship barrier, I was doing some posts, and then I did a test on the stories. Hey, how many of you have seen my posts? And then when I saw people going back to my profile to just like pictures, it told me, you're not seeing it in the algorithm as expected. So I am. It's been a little shadow banned there on Instagram, but it's come to be expected. It just happens. But anyway, besides all this, you can help me get to creator status on X. I hit 500. I get creator status. So almost there, just about 60 away on average. And for those of you on YouTube, thank you so very much for supporting me, for liking my videos. Even if you don't like my videos, but you're commenting anyway, you're helping the algorithm. So like they say, no such thing as bad publicity. You're helping the algorithm because you're engaging. So I do appreciate that. And I'm creeping ever closer to 3,000. I am considering doing a giveaway because it's been a while. And if I do that, and if it looks like X and Rumble, for those of you that are following me on Rumble, thank you so very much. It's been it's about 40 different new subscribers over on Rumble since my exclusivity expired with Rumble. So that means you guys are still finding my channels, even though I'm not really being propped up there. And of course, Muck Club, I always appreciate anyone over from Muck Club. That's a lot of Crowder's paid membership thingy, and I do appreciate all those of you that help boost my videos, because our rising tide lifts all boats. So I do appreciate you all. But if it happens that I'm getting that many more on Rumble, and now BitChute, welcome to the party, because I'm live streaming to you too, and I will keep live streaming to you. I'm just cutting the feed for YouTube and Twitch. I do intend to do a giveaway. It could be a coffee gift card, could be some particular books that I have in mind that I want to give away, some of my own, a little biased, but yeah. Oh, and I guess I should share this before I cut everything off. For those of you that been following me long enough and knew that I was talking about possibly having the CTO of Unplugged on the show, because a lot of you wanted me to talk to him, and I didn't ask Unplugged. They offered him. I got a call from the CEO one morning. He texted me. He's like, "Hey man, you got a few minutes?" I was like, "Oh yeah, sure. What's up?" So just call me. And he calls me and he asked me if I'm willing to have Iran on the show. Like, Iran, you mean the guy that everybody in the tech world wants to talk to? Of course he's welcome on my show. And I kept that under wraps for a while. And when it got to like, all right, we're really getting the ball moving to make this happen, because we're on different time zones and all this, and my schedule, his schedule, we got to make it happen. And so then I officially teased that I'm in talks to have the CTO. And then, of course, when the days went by, that turned to weeks, of course, there were individuals that were telling me that I should be honest with my audience and let them know this is not going to happen. And I said, I'd never said it was or wasn't. I said we're in talks, and these things do take time. So it is, and now it happened. If it didn't happen, I would have told you. But because we're trying to make it happen, it couldn't have worked out better than it did. And I'm so glad, because I was able to address many things that Iran wasn't going to be able to address. That's where the CEO being present was on very last minute too. It was a very last minute thing that the CEO jumped on to be able to be on that call, and it worked out, made it happen. Those two gentlemen had never done a sit-down interview, so it was their first time, and I was able to make sure that the butterfly jitters they didn't have them, and then we got going. And believe me, they do look at the feedback, both positive and negative. they've been looking at the comments, my videos, other videos alike, and that's why I clipped out some of the stuff that I felt was relevant, including what you would like to see, like an Unplugged phone 2, because we did talk about it in the interview, and they really wanted to hear your feedback on it. So for those of you that haven't seen it, by all means, go over to the channel. It could be on Rumble, it could be on YouTube. I clipped it up. The episode is called Unplugged Phone 2, ? And it is from that, and they want to hear from you because they were toying around with some design choices. And in fact, I didn't realize this until they brought it up. This is the different design than the original one they were working with. That's why I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I saw, like, I went back to see the original product pitch. I'm like, you guys did make that change. You're right. So they were messing around with a few things, and I'm like, you know what? That other one was actually a really good idea, and I think the fans would like it. So that's something to consider for the future. So I say all that to say that I am in talks. These other interviews might not happen for like another month and a half, but I think they're just as important. And no, it's not about the United States, because there are different aspects of tech that I think are very important. For those of us here, we have our concerns, exactly what I'm about to talk about when it comes to censorship here in a moment. But I think it's also important to note that we're not the only country in the world using tech, and different countries, different peoples, different cultures use tech differently. So I think that's going to be very interesting, for better or worse. So I think those two different worldviews that I'm in talks to have on my show, that stay tuned for that, should be interesting once that comes to pass. So stay tuned, like, share, subscribe, stay to know wherever you're watching, however you're following, to make sure you don't miss out on any of those updates. For those of you that are aware, from the very beginning, I did mention that my buddy over at Ranger County Coffee Company, Larry, his in-laws live upstate in California. Their home was one of the homes that got burned up during this massive park fire that's just raging out of control. And it's been one of the biggest burns in probably the state, because it is the biggest fire of the year thus far. But it's already setting records historically, because there's just no slowing this down. The guy responsible for starting this fire that burned a car, threw it down a ravine, was arraigned on Monday. I haven't seen any other updates since then, but it doesn't matter that whatever they're doing to him is not helping the people that have already been hurt in the interim. So I did post, for those of you on YouTube and those of you on Twitch, the link to the Give Send Go. So you're able to give however little, however small, doesn't matter. It could even just be a prayer. They'll gladly accept it. So if you can, by all means, do so. For those of you on X, it is on my profile feed there, so you can find it's even on part of my highlights. And for those of you on Rumble, I will be posting this here after I cut off YouTube and Twitch. So that's the last I wanted to say. And of course, getting Ranger County Coffee as your coffee. If you haven't seen, my buddy Brandon Fallon from the Epoch Times, he's doing vital signs. He just dropped an episode about how coffee is the fountain of youth. Now, he didn't say fountain of youth. I'm calling it fountain of youth, because coffee could extend your lifestyle, your life expectancy. How? Go check out his video. I even posted it on my socials, primarily on X. You might want to check that out. And it's on Parler, because, well... it's the truth. But there's also some truth that I didn't know about that. I'm like, I don't know. Really? I didn't know sugar can do that too. The good sugar, not the processed crap. But yeah, go check that out. And then after that, go to rangercandycoffee.com, buy your coffee, because you're like, dude, I got to get me some. Even though you're not a coffee drinker, you might be after that news report. And make sure you use the Segovia at checkout to make sure that you get free shipping on your order, no matter how big or small. Anyway, that's where I leave it for those of you on YouTube and Twitch. I am going to segue over to, and this is the first time I do this live, by the way, I'm going to segue over to just speaking to those of you on Rumble, X, and BitChute. So those of you there, don't go away. For everybody else, jump over there. You can. For those of you, John, Daniel, that participated in the YouTube chat, I appreciate you. And for those of you over there, I'll see you in the next one. Everybody else, don't hang up yet, or don't tune away. Let me just cut these out. All right. Bye-bye, YouTube.